And so let's stop with that. Can we leave Kamala is black in 2024? That would be great. So anyway, Plaskett upset because they don't have a vote and they want to be able to have a vote. Well, let's hear from them.
Speaker, I have a parliamentary inquiry. I note that the names of the representatives from the Americas, Samoa, Guam, Northern Mariana, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and the District of Columbia were not called, representing collectively 4 million Americans. Mr. Speaker, collectively the largest per capita of veterans in this country.
Does the gentlelady have a parliamentary inquiry?
I asked why they were not called. Have some respect. It's not going to take...
Gentlelady is recognized.
I asked why they were not called from the parliamentarian, please.
Delegates-elect and the resident commissioner-elect are not qualified to vote. Representatives-elect are the only individuals qualified to vote in the election of a speaker. As provided in Section 36 of the House Rules and Manual, the speaker is elected by a majority of the members-elect voting by surname.
This body and this nation has a territories and a colonies problem. What was supposed to be temporary has now effectively become permanent. We must do something about this problem so that these 4 million... But I have a voice, and...
One of the reasons, Plaskett, that they don't give y'all a vote is because they don't want you immediately funneling funds off of American people to your island. But we already have a Caribbean Black Caucus to which she is the co-chair, along with Yvette Clarke. So the 2 chairs of the Congressional Caribbean Caucus are now sitting at the leadership, and Plaskett don't even got a doggone vote. Representing the Virgin Islands, but through her buddy, through her Jamaican Caribbean kinsman over here, they're getting money for infrastructure in the Caribbean to build schools and whatnot. Now, there was something that happened a few months ago that might have gone unnoticed, might have gone under the radar because everything was about where's Kamala? Where's Kamala? Where's Kamala? But back in September, we talk about how these people over here talking about all these non-foundational Black American issues and it being an agenda against foundational Black Americans, trying to rewrite our history, number one, and adding Caribbeans in there. Why would they need to add Caribbeans in there? It's because they were intending this wave all along. They've already had the last Caribbean leader, the last few Caribbean leaders of the Caribbean Congressional Black Caucus, which of course started by one in the first place, and that of Shirley Chisholm, which is a Caribbean Black feminist lesbian. And that's what they give us. Let's just be clear. So this is from Colorado Newsline. And this is back in September 13th, 2024. Biden celebrates Black achievements, decrees racism against Haitian migrants. President Joe Biden, in the last months of his 4-year term, detailed his administration's efforts in seeking to advance opportunities and equity for Black communities on Friday, during the White House's first ever brunch in celebration of Black excellence. The event came as the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation hosted its annual legislative conference this week in Washington, D.C. Quote, "Today we honor this simple truth. Black history is American history. Black excellence is American excellence. And folks, we don't erase history like others are trying to. We make history." Let me sidebar right there. You do actively try to erase our history. You have not stopped anyone from trying to cut out our history, or you have made no initiatives, no legislation, or anything preserving Black history. Biden said it to a crowd of South Lawn. The members of the Congressional Black Caucus. As a matter of fact, I know people who were there at this event. That's what this event was. I remember this now. And I know people who were there. So this is Black excellence. No, this was not to Black excellence. This was to Black bourgeoisie. So it was a big to do with all of the sororities and the AKs, all the I kissed Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton and Obama's ass club. That's all that was. I remember this. And then they had all the extra folks from their sororities, all the like administrators and fraternities. They was all like, man, miss me. Oh, and then the celebrities that were there. This was not Black excellence. It was everybody who was on board with Team Kamala. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, a.k.a. Shay Pierre, Trell Thomas, founder of Black Excellence Brunch, Marseille Martin, an actress and producer, and Shalonda Young, director of the Office of Management and Budget, gave brief remarks ahead of Biden. Quote, I know it because I've seen it. I've been vice president to the first Black president in American history, a president to the first Black vice president, and God willing, to the first female Black president in American history. Now we're rewriting history right there. We are absolutely rewriting history and the present real time, because Kamala Harris is not a Black woman. She's an Indian woman, Caucasian Indian. You cannot make her Black. There's no Black ancestry in that woman. Biden, who originally sought a second term, passed the torch. Okay, well, let me kind of fill that one in. Biden, who originally sought a second term, had a complete coup and upended his term, seeking time by way of Nancy Pelosi and all of these other Democrats who said, no, Joe, we want her now. You're out. And so after the coup, Biden passed the torch to his vice president, Kamala Harris. In mid-July, following his disastrous debate performance in July against the Republican presidential nominee, former President Donald Trump, which is now President-elect Donald Trump. Harris, the Democrat presidential nominee, now has a chance to become the first woman to serve as president and the first Black woman president and the first president of South Asian descent. Well, she's not black, so she would be the first woman of South Asian descent. We can give her that because she most definitely ain't tied to us. See, they have moved the goalposts on Kamala Harris for so many years. When we started delineating, that's when they started talking about Jamaican. Because up until that point, they was calling Donald, her father, and her African American. That man ain't no person African American. As far as I know, he never was a citizen. Is he technically a citizen now? Biden also underscored some of the administration's key efforts in regard to the Black community, such as achieving the lowest Black unemployment rate on record as of August. And we heard all of that crap. Let me see. I want to get to this other part. They also talk about Ketanji Brown Jackson. Okay, but here's the other part that I really wanted to highlight here. He also condemned racism toward Haitian migrants to the U.S., saying the community is under attack in our country right now, and calling it simply wrong. Conspiracy theories about migrant and bomb threats continue to rock Springfield. And once Donald Trump got elected, those same migrants decided to get their asses out of Springfield. And there hasn't been a problem since. Trump at Tuesday's presidential debate hosted by ABC News amplified false claims about Haitian migrants. They're saying in Springfield, they're eating the dogs, and the people came in, they're eating the cats, adding that they were eating the pets of the people who live there. Appearing to allude to Trump, Biden added, "There's no place in America. This has to stop. What he is doing it has to stop." Meanwhile, Biden and Harris are both slated to speak at the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation Phoenix Award dinner is Saturday night in Washington. So he's celebrating the achievements of the bourgeoisie and black folks. Now, this is 6 days ago. Because, see, I wanted to go back to all the way to Biden just so, because we've known this has been an agenda, but this is just a few days ago. And this is from afro.com. It says, and this is from the 29th December. Capitol Hill legislators advocate for Black immigrant communities amid transition of power. Is there sound here? What is this? Let's see.
Capitol Hill legislators advocate for Black immigrant communities amid transition of power. By Ashley Banks, special to the AFRO. U.S. Rep. Yvette D. Clark, DNY-09, and several other Congressional Black Caucus CBC members are urging the Biden-Harris administration to take immediate action to protect Black immigrant communities during the upcoming lame duck session. This call comes amid growing concerns regarding the potential impact of President-elect Donald Trump's proposed immigration policies on Black communities and families with mixed immigration status. Lawmakers sent a letter to President Joe Biden urging him to utilize existing legal authorities to implement several critical executive actions. These include extending and redesignating temporary protected status, TPS, for currently designated countries, addressing the TPS processing backlog, finalizing an automatic extension rule for work permits, prioritizing the processing of work permits across all categories, and designating special student relief, SSR, for Nigerian F1 students studying in the United States.
Word?
In a statement emailed to the AFRO, Clark said that during former President Trump's first term in office, he adopted regulations that harmed migrant communities. We witnessed the implementation of policies that were detrimental to immigrant communities, including the expansion of migrant detention programs and the construction of a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border, said Clark. In 2019, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, detained migrants at unprecedented levels, with Black detainees facing abuse at disproportionately high rates. With Trump's pledge to conduct what he describes as the largest mass deportation in history, we are gravely concerned that individuals of African descent will be disproportionately targeted. These actions are crucial to shield innocent people and families from further disruption in their lives, she added. In a statement obtained by the AFRO, Niels Kinwani, Federal Policy Manager of African Communities Together, ACT, said that she stands in solidarity with the Democratic lawmakers. The scapegoating of immigrants has placed Black immigrants at a precarious intersection, where they are both targeted by harmful rhetoric and policies, while their needs and contributions remain largely invisible, said Kinwani. With President-elect Trump's mass deportation agenda looming, the time for proactive measures to protect our communities is now. We urge President Biden to leverage his authority to defend Black immigrants in an increasingly xenophobic and racist immigration landscape, she added. Chibenga Ogunjimi from the Nigerian Center said that Biden should grant TPS for Nigerian nationals and students living in the U.S. As the United States
Do you notice how every time they mention Nigerians are only talking about themselves? Are you all catching that? And whenever the Nigerian chimes in, they aren't advocating for any other group. Only Nigerians. They're not concerned about Ghanaians, the Congolese and the Singalese, and they're not concerned about them. They ain't worried about the Kenyan. They are worried about Nigerian. Every time you talk about Nigerian, they talking everything Nigerian, nothing else.
Transitions to a new administration. We recommend prioritizing this request for the incoming administration, especially given its stated commitment to merit-based immigration. This is particularly relevant for individuals with skills that are in demand in the U.S. economy, he said in a statement.
We don't have a need for a bunch of fake nurses with fake degrees. That's one thing we definitely don't have any need of. And we see a lot of them scams. And we don't need any, we need any rich princes over here that can't access their accounts and access their money without you giving them $500 and letting them use your bank account and all of that type of stuff. The Nigerians are absolutely only about Nigerians, man. They don't give a crap about any of these other immigrants. So this lets you know who actually probably is investing in, like let's fight for it. We got to keep these people.
U.S. Rep. Sheila Trephilis McCormick, D-Fala.20, also emphasized the importance of renewing TPS, highlighting its benefits for both the United States and TPS holders. Renewing TPS is advantageous for our economy, as TPS holders contribute over $4 billion in taxes, she asserted. If TPS
non-citizens are paying taxes, but we're supposed to believe that they can't, that they ain't voting? Okay.
TPS is not renewed, we risk creating massive socioeconomic disruptions, forcing thousands to leave their families behind. The answer is clear. We must extend TPS. The letter advocating for these critical protections was co-signed by numerous lawmakers, including U.S. Reps. Gabe Amo.
You have Fortune 500 companies in this country closing their doors, laying off workers by the thousands, and you're sitting up here saying that how these people will help the economy. What about all of the American citizens who are losing their jobs? Because what you're literally advocating for is replacement. And make sure you understand, folks, they are using the Congressional Black Caucus. They're using black faces. They're using the black faces, which these people are tethers. This is why we say tethers. So here is the perfect example of the Congressional Black Caucus, the tether caucus, selling Black America up the river again, putting their main focus on illegal immigration, and so far we have heard nothing they have to say about doing anything for Black America. It's almost as we are invisible. And I guess as far as their legislative conversation, we are.
DRI-1, Andre Carson, D-N-7, Jonathan Johnson, D-Ill-1, Sydney Kamluger Dub, D-Left-37, Gregory Meeks, DNY-5, Ilhan Omar, D-Min.-5, Presley, D-Mascot-7, and several others.
Why is Ilhan Omar in the Congressional Black Caucus? She's Somalian. Somalians pride themselves on not being black, but she's in the Congressional Black Caucus. This is, again, what we talk about tethers. And then she gets up there. And what does she say she's going to advocate for? Somaliland. But foundational Black American freedmen, the descendants of slaves, chattel slavery in this country, we can't get as much as a mention. This is a coming administration, and the only mention of black is them using the term designated for us while speaking for everybody else. Family, we need to make sure, and shout out to the brother Arthur. Is that Arthur Watkins? I'm going to get that right, because he's been putting together a petition on X to get some freedmen on this caucus. And we don't need any foreign boards. We need a freedmen-based Black caucus. If they want to have, they have their Caribbean caucus. So realistically, if they're going to represent the Caribbean caucus, then that's a conflict of interest. They do not have the interest of the freedmen in mind. Because to be on that side, like to be a foundational Black American freedman, we have and hold a status in this country. The original intent of the 14th Amendment is about us. Not all of these other people that benefit from us. So I want y'all to understand what everybody come here is doing. When you talk immigration, immigration is it's foundationally anti-Black. Immigration is absolutely foundationally anti-Black. You know why? Because how they brought these white peasants from Europe who didn't have any skills and taught them how to farm. You got these people coming over on boats, sickness, because they were in famine in their own land. See, people tend to forget this, right? Come over here and rewrite their damn history. Oh, y'all were paupers. Y'all lived in shanty towns where you came from. You came here and lived in shanty towns until they put you on. Then all these other people coming here getting free goodies, talking about we're leaving, coming here for a better life. Everybody that comes here under the guise of immigration has came to celebrate and participate off of ill-gotten means, and they exploited our ancestors. And then they want you to be okay with it. And to say, well, hey, what about me? I should also benefit from the blood, sweat, and tears of your ancestors. Right? This is the stuff they talk about. That's crazy to me. To come up in our faces, because they have taught us not to look at it as what it is. The American immigration system and the idea of letting these dreamers in, that is foundationally anti-Black. You can't, there's a few things that go on in this country that this country and this society promotes that are absolutely at its roots inherently, foundationally anti-Black. Immigration, feminism. Those two things right there, you can begin. Immigration and feminism. Feminism will get you down to thinning out black folks' numbers by way of Margaret Sanger's Negro Project plan. And these eugenicists, Gates family, and all these other people who have these ill ideas about black folks. And now here we are having melanated immigrants standing in the place where black folks and black voices and black agendas should be going forth, and they are making sure they don't. I hope going forward that everybody will make sure to loudly vocalize our displeasure with the Congressional "I ain't doing nothing for black folks" caucus going forward. We have to show these people and the world that we are no longer going to be ignored. Like Glenn Close and Fatal Attraction. Hey, let's get that right here. What's going on? That was weird. Hopefully you can still hear me though. Let's get that popping. Yeah. Everybody going. That was wild. Okay. That was weird. Okay. But that's funny. And we saying too much over here, but at the end of the day, I'm wrapping up. So we have a lot of shields, but it's like this brighter, man. That's better. It's like I need some sun. Oh, Lord. But these Congressional Black Caucus and the Congressional Black Talkers, like I said, that the "I ain't doing nothing for black folks" caucus, they need to know we're done with them and they don't represent us anymore. And I hope that you guys loudly vocalize your disdain for these folks and their actions and doing nothing. They all have X pages. Hit these folks up. Let them know about what our agenda is. They need to be speaking our agenda. And we also need to, which I will personally start also looking into, all of these different people's terms. Because what we don't need is black faces in high places. We need black agendas in high places. So I hope going forward, I encourage all of you to be more active with these particular individuals who call themselves being a caucus for our culture, who are nothing but a group of anti-black tethers. People may not like the fact that we have to call these folks tethers, but that's what being a tether is. You get into a position created for this community, you get there and then start undermining this community while supposedly standing in place to represent it. And as for me, I say no more. I hope y'all agree. But anybody who doesn't, Babylon is fallen. Babylon is fallen. Let it fall. And let us rise. Can you dig it? Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. So we're about to have to make our good move here. I see some other people came up in the chat. I see our brother from Twitter is in the chat. Damani, yes, indeed. Damani, us, the observer. Yes, indeed. So Eric Adams got a battery put in his back by Trump. He's about to power up these illegal. Man, I'm hoping he is. In fact, the original Statue of Liberty was a black woman. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for being here on this good Saturday afternoon. Flock says immigrants that knew what they was doing, they don't deserve no help for a month. You know. And thank you for being here, Flock. And Cole One said, yes, we need to organize a freedom caucus for real. Absolutely. Absolutely. And dark skinned brother in the house. Yes, indeed. Under the main account. And salute to you, my good brother, as always, of course. Always already been in the house. But good to see you in both accounts here. And of course, thank you for being a member as well. And let's see y'all West Coast folks. It's 9:30 in Chicago. Yeah, old folks in bed. No doubt. It's yeah. I guess it is getting close to 6, 7, or 9:30 out there. Yes, indeed. So we're gonna go ahead and get ready to skedaddle. But I just want to say, family, the year has started off with a bang. In a major way. I would hope that people keep looking to whatever is going on there, because I believe that all of those things are coordinated. I don't believe you're going to find an answer in the traditional, like, here's a group of this people and this is what's. These people weren't radicalized by the entities that they're trying to be associated with. Their radicalization is somewhat coming from, number one, maybe being chosen for those roles because of their natural personalities. And it just seems that both of those were driven by way of their commitment to a certain ideal. And to that regard, I could totally see then how the programming could be connected. And then you start putting in the same ties. Like I said, it just reminds me of 5 Deadly Venom. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's what it reminds me of. Now, with that, we talked about the Fred Curley situation. Hopefully, his situation works out for the good for him and all involved. And then last but not least, this Congressional Do Nothing Black Caucus that has absolutely refused to do anything and speak on Black folks' behalf. We've had some things happen to Black folks over the last, with like even the Robert Brooks case. These people aren't overly vocal, but let something go wrong with all of these other groups and they're sitting out there in front of Capitol Hill doing a press conference. These people are disgusting. And I'm sure that not everybody agrees with them. And that's okay. But here's their objective. To flood the zone, just like they were already doing. This has been the Democratic agenda. That is against Black America. So, and also, let me say, Foundational Black American is not a group. It's not an organization. It is a identifier as a lineage. So a foundational Black American is a Black American, is a freedman, is a descendant of chattel slavery. Could say, they're ADOS if you just want to use them by the definition of the acronyms, not the organization. Because what runs through our veins will not be changed by a name. That's our connection. Our culture won't be changed by what you call it. But you cannot recreate what we have already created, and you can't create our future because that has been yet to be created by us. The foundation of everything that you guys know to be cool. That's us, the exceptional group on the planet. Everybody now wants to look like us. Everybody now wants to be like us. But just like Kendrick Lamar said, they not like us. Hashtag.